Guys, Dividend Enjoyer here, and today I'm going to be reviewing a stock in my own personal portfolio, Waste Management. I've got a DCF valuation right here, and I did some tweaking to this one because I think that the perpetual growth rate will probably be higher. But if we go with my traditional metric, then the stock is way, overvalued. But I think that it's kind of an in between, right? Like maybe it's at a 3.5. I think there's a chance that this stock may be overvalued, but there's also a chance that it could be grossly undervalued as well. This stock's really hard to kind of accurately predict. I think a perpetual growth rate of 4% is very reasonable, though. I also think that with that being baked in, that's still pretty close to the price at the average growth rate of the free cash flow. But I think that they're going to grow even more. And I think that it's going to be surprising the different innovations that they have with, harvesting natural gas from the methane within the trash. There's also a very interesting thing, and I saw a video on it on how landfills worked, where there's actually a layer of tarp underneath them. Because you know how if there's trash, it leaks into the groundwater. So to prevent that, there's usually a giant tarp under these landfills, and then there's like a thing that takes all of the garbage water and they either process it or they like let it flow into a controlled like concrete block thing, like to keep it from getting into the groundwater. So I mean, you can really, and I'm just an idiot. I didn't have an engineering degree, none of that. But what I really like about waste management is how much thought everything like has been put into it on how to either save money or innovate in some way. And you wouldn't think of that with, a garbage company. But they are very, monopolistic. It's very hard to get into this industry as well. To get zoning for a landfill is like impossible. Nobody wants to live next to a giant garbage area. So Waste Management has about 250 landfills, I believe, and they're just the kings of collecting trash, and they make a profit very consistently. And then when they have more money, they just either buy better, more efficient equipment or invest it into other ways to make more money. So I like Waste Management because the core business itself, the important cash cow part of the business, is very unlikely to be affected by which way the economy is going, and they can consistently raise the prices. It's because everyone has to have this. Every HOA, every even if you're in the country, you have to have your trash taken away. And they just keep expanding. And as they expand, I mean, they're making money, so they just keep expanding and making more money. I mean, it's not like a super hard concept. Waste management just I would love to just have this company in my portfolio and just never look at it again, because they're just going to grow and grow. And like an essential service. I'm also willing to bet that within the future of the United States, there's just going to be more homes and more people. So there's going to be more of a growing need for, I mean, this exact market. Like the waste disposal business, I bet you is going to grow as a whole. And Waste Management's the biggest company in this business by, a landslide. I mean, there aren't a lot of, big garbage companies as big as Waste Management. And they're just going to be acquiring the other ones because it synergistically makes sense to them. And the shareholders of the other companies probably will get paid a premium on what the shares are worth. So I think Waste Management is soon just going to have this garbage empire, and they're going to operate all across the United States. They just keep getting bigger every year. And with this, to get into the model too, because I've kind of gone more into the business, I feel like, I think a growth rate of 7% is fair. I think even an 11% growth rate, I think would be fair. But I think a perpetual growth rate, you have to have it at least 4 or 3.5 for this company. This is not a cope just because I bought it. I literally just think that the company is going to have to grow forever like this, regardless. At a 3.5, I think is very reasonable for that. And the longer you hold this stock, the more attractive the price looks, in my opinion. Because over time, they're just going to be able to keep growing forever, and you're just going to keep collecting dividends on it. So yeah, I mean, I also wanted to show you guys the working average cost of capital, how I got it. Um, I had all of this is from Yahoo Finance. Um, yeah, and I got 5.81%. I think other people's, because I looked at some other people's models, and to kind of compare, because I had been rocking with the 2.5% perpetual growth rate, and they were going with a 4. Um, I think that's a little high, but it might not be when you actually like sit back and think this business is not like tech where it's super uncertain what's going to happen. Um, it's very, very, extremely, very likely that they could grow at 4% into the future, basically forever, because there's just going to be more and more waste disposal needs and recycling needs, probably also, because they're going to have all the infrastructure laid out for that, which I hadn't really thought of even. As plastics and things may become more valuable, waste management might be able to make a killing recycling. Um, but who knows? I mean, that's like a way in the future sort of thing, probably. But I think Waste Management's an excellent company, just fundamentally. That's the main reason I want to keep it in my portfolio. Even if I'm paying a little bit more than what it's worth right now, as long as I'm close, I'm fine with holding it for a very long time, because I know it's going to be worth more in the future. And, I'm really happy to just hold it forever. And I don't want to add any more, because I think Amazon's fundamentally a better company than this. But I think it's very good to have companies that, are very defensive for economic downturns and aren't going to be affected. So then, if there is an economic downturn or something like that, you don't get totally crushed, you know? So I think these are excellent, especially because the dividend's also very safe. It's just a very safe company. It's a nice company that just consistently grows everything. Not very complicated, just great company, because it'll basically just grow forever without me even having to think about it, lift a finger, do anything. And yeah, I just collect my money because I put money into this company. That's kind of the philosophy of this. I mean, it's basically like they handle all of the complicated, moving the trash stuff. I just give them some money that I invest into the company, and I just hold forever because I don't have to worry about this company at all. I mean, it's like a Microsoft or an Amazon or something like that that has a lot farther to fall and is in a lot more speculative areas. I feel like you want to, do all the research and everything like that for it. But Waste Management, earnings are pretty much going to grow at the same consistent rate. There will be some beats, there will be some misses, but um, same with American Express. I can just basically not look at it and assume that in 2 years they're going to grow the company. I mean, even if the economy's down, might be a bad year here or there, I see those as buying opportunities. That's kind of how I feel about Waste Management. I think they're just going to have an absolute stranglehold on the garbage industry, and I want to be there for it. I don't want to. I don't want to not have a super safe stock that I could literally hold forever and just collect dividends for the rest of my life. And I actually really enjoy Waste Management. I think it's a great company. And I think my model shows that it could really go either way. It depends on your philosophy, right? If you think that a 2.5% perpetual growth rate is correct, um, then you would obviously think that Waste Management is way overvalued. But I mean, that's at an 11% growth rate, so yeah. I mean, 3%, I genuinely think 3.5 is like a good measure, or even 4. And I think a good growth rate is maybe 8%. I think this is around what its fair price should be, but I could be totally wrong, and I would be happy to debate someone in the comments or talk about what they think. Um, I could also just be very biased because I really like the underlying company, like I've talked about. And I think that this is a stock that even if it goes way down, you don't have to really worry about it. You just buy more and then you just wait forever. Um, Again, not financial advice, but that seems to work. I mean, you just buy a stock that you know is going to grow pretty much forever and make more money forever pretty reliably, like with over a 95% chance. And then you just hold that for 20 years, and then you just collect the money because then that's enough money to just not have to work anymore. That seems like a good strategy with this stock, I'm thinking. And then this is one of those stocks where you could do that, and that's kind of what you want your portfolio to be a lot of. But I mean, you also want like a little bit of speculative stuff that's quality because that could lead to huge growth if you get really lucky, and then you're pretty much taken care of. Um, but yeah, I don't think waste management's going to do anything crazy. I don't think it's going to have any movements. This is a stock that you can pretty much hold for the rest of your life and reliably make money if you have that long term horizon. Now, is it a buy right now? I think it's very speculative short term. I don't do any short term predictions or anything like that. But for the purposes of my investing journey, I think that waste management is an excellent addition to the portfolio. And, I look forward to the future as an investor and just being able to look back at this investment and say, yeah, that's paying me a decent amount now. I'm glad I kept adding to it too. But I'm not specifically buying them right now. I'm more buying Amazon, American Express, and Meta. Those are kind of my top three, which maybe I could do another top three video on them if you guys like this one. Thanks for watching. Sorry for rambling on too much. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. Please hit the subscribe button. I think it was an entertaining video. I kind of got to talk myself through why I'm buying my waste management, why I like waste management. Let me know what you guys think again in the comments section, and I'll see you in the next one.